The podcast that you're about to listen to does not care about your emotions, your hypersensitivity, or your political correctness. If you wish to continue, then
shut up and sit down.
What's going on, everybody? You're listening to the A5 podcast. I'm Frank, a.k.a. PJ, here with Fabian.
What's going on?
And John.
yeah,
What is up, fellas? It's another beautiful day here in New York. New York.
it was mad nice today. I ain't gonna front.
Yesterday was a little bit better, but
you were
you know.
accurate. You were accurate in that assessment.
Before we get going too crazy, y'all, this episode is brought to you by Empanada Master. Be sure to follow them on Facebook at Empanada Master and empanadamaster.com to find out all of their upcoming events and locations.
Food is mad good. by the
So,
way.
gentlemen, I got a question for y'all. Well, I'm going to preface it by telling you, this question comes from a comment that I received by somebody trying to look out for me as to the need to be careful of expressing our opinions really pertaining to specific topics in today's culture and society regarding to race issues, political questions, social issues, things like that. They basically suggested that I be careful with the things that I say, particularly in the podcast, and the opinions that I give, because of how people can react to them. And I guess it really struck me because I found it so unfortunate, as right as they are, and they were looking out for me because being a business owner, right, which we all are. But it struck me like that we have to be so careful, and the idea that we have to be so careful, and that we've come to that point. So I'm curious as to how you guys feel about that.
It's a goddamn shame, bro. I don't know if I don't like stuff like that. I don't like when people try to force you to be a certain way. I don't like having to be forced in. If I'm calling a bank, I got to fucking code switch and shit like that. Like, hi, my name is Jonathan Winston, and I'm calling. Like, I hate that I have to do that, right?
Right.
And so I think not being able to voice your opinions and be who you are kind of falls in the same line.
You know, Nipsey Hussle called that a skill, by the way.
Oh, code switching, yeah.
A life skill.
It is for us. It absolutely is a life skill, because I don't talk like that.
Yeah,
But I have to talk like that to get to certain places.
But you know what? Kind of everybody does. Maybe some more than others. But I mean, you also got to put on your customer service voice if you're dealing with the public.
I wonder if Indian people code switch with other Indian people. Just curious.
Yeah, they do. Probably do.
Just curious if any other nationality or country code switches when they're talking to somebody else that is from their country.
I do. They do. You could tell.
I would like somebody to tell me for sure.
I'm pretty sure we do.
Because I've never heard of that. But as far as having people having opinions, you can have an opinion. They're like assholes, right? Everybody has them.
Right.
But I don't think it should be able to stop your money. I think people are so fucking wound up and uptight that your opinion, unfortunately, will stop your money.
Well,
But it depends on the actual opinion itself. It's just some opinions are viewed upon as more favorable than others, and that's the problem. So nowadays, if you have a certain type of opinion, you are getting silenced, and it's actually unfortunate, but now it's widely accepted that it's okay to silence these types of opinions because you don't agree with them, and because the vast majority of people don't agree with them. So it's okay to do that, and that's something that I have a problem with.
Well, some opinions shouldn't be shared. Some opinions should, because if let loose, those opinions go too far. Fucking see Hitler, see Bernie Sanders. Right? When people have opinions and people start agreeing with those opinions, you go mad far. You know what I'm saying?
It can become dangerous. Certain opinions can become dangerous.
So you can't say, I mean, I feel like hate speech is a real thing. You can if you have a person of a platform and you're saying go out there and do X, Y, and Z to this group of people, and you know you have followers, yeah, you shouldn't be allowed to just express your opinion, and yeah, you should be shut down. Something should happen to you. But if you have a podcast and you have a small business, I'm not out here doing hate speech or nothing like that. I'm just expressing my opinion on the things that I see, and then none of it comes off as hateful.
Well,
some people could perceive that as hateful,
right,
just because you disagree with them, and that's the problem that I have is where do we draw the line?
yeah, it's like it becomes a matter of who draws the line. But a lot of my idea comes in the saying that that I was taught that really no one can tell you your opinion is wrong, right? That it's your opinion, it's your feelings, and not everyone has to or should agree with your opinion.
Absolutely.
That's where the beauty really lies. I feel like the bigger problem is really in today's society where you can't have an opposing view to somebody and just openly discuss whatever topic that may be. Right? It's not necessarily about hate speech when you talk about politics. It's really about opposing view. And it's such a climate in today's world where if we don't agree, right? I'll use you two as an example. John being Democratic, Fabian being Republican, right? It becomes a battle between the two of you where right now, because of who you guys are, you can have that conversation and walk away still friends and still okay. Where there's many people who could be completely cordial 1 second and then realize, oh shit, what, you voted for Trump? Oh, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then it starts going down a whole nother level.
Well, that goes down to the individual person. That comes down to your personal responsibility, because I argued with my mom again the other day about Trump and Bernie and Biden and all of that, right? But that's my mom. When she left, I was smiling at her and she was, happy.
Love you, Ma. Okay, bye.
Yeah, I mean, me and Fabian clearly have differing political views, but nigga, we was champion Apex yesterday. We lit, bro. we are a well-oiled machine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear that.
But that comes down to us being mature people, understanding that his political views and my political views don't really have much to do with our own relationship or who he is as a person. I just know where his values lie. He know where my values lie. That don't mean, it really doesn't mean anything. But people,
right? You guys don't have to be on the exact same page, and that's okay.
But now we're in the era of talking heads, right? And so everybody have an opinion, and your favorite talking head, and the things that if somebody can appeal to your logic about something, now that's where you follow him. Because I said it before, we're the Bloods and the Crips now. In this country. So if you find somebody who speaks like you, talk like you, who kind of follows your way of thinking and your train of thinking,
right?
That's how you get fanatical and start picking sides even when it don't make sense.
Well, here's the thing with that. I think it comes down to labels, and the difference is between now and the way it was back when we were younger and we were having these debates, and we'll just leave class and be like, okay, well, you think differently than I do, and you think differently than I think your views are wrong, whatever it is, but it's my opinion, it's your opinion, and we're still chill after that. The difference nowadays is that you're getting labeled, and this is the problem I have, is that if you are, like you said, a supporter of Trump, you're all of a sudden, by default, because that's what it perpetuates, a racist, a bigot, a sexist, promoting all types of misogynistic shit, right? And then if you are a Bernie supporter, you automatically a socialist. You hate America. You want the downfall of capitalism and shit like that.
Right.
Not realizing that there's stuff on both sides and there's people on both sides that just believe in some of the values that both parties or both candidates have to offer, or whatever it may be. They're overlapping, but because it's very clannish, and like you said, it's very much like a gang. It's like Bloods and the Crips, and to the point where you can't even entertain the other side. Because by doing that, you're entertaining either hate speech or sexist speech or racist speech.
Well, now you're a traitor.
Or it has nothing to do. And that happens all over the place. I mean, in my experience, and I know a lot of conservative minorities out there feel the same way. The second you start thinking conservatively, you're all of a sudden Uncle Juan or Uncle Tom. Or you're siding with a certain
and Uncle Juan.
But
I like how you put
he had
you put Juan in it. There's an enunciation to it.
But because you think or feel a certain way, because you actually are going this way because you feel like it's more beneficial to your own folks, but they don't see that because they've really been brainwashed to think, okay, the second you're on that side, you're now the enemy.
People stop listening.
And they start, yeah.
They tune you out once they find out that you're in an opposing view.
Yeah.
It's like, no, instead of listening to why and the reasoning, the rationale, and where you stand, people start closing off and automatically think that it becomes their responsibility to convince you otherwise, right? It's their responsibility now to convince you why you're wrong. Not
like
necessarily
they changed my mind shit.
Yeah, it's not necessarily to take in your points like that. No, your points are irrelevant. Let me tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah. Because we have so much fast information that we consume it at a fast speed that we think we have the answers and we'll be ready for these arguments. Nope.
Yeah,
I watch Don Lemon. I watch fucking
everyone
Tucker
thinks they
Carlson.
have the answers.
Yeah,
right?
you know what I'm saying.
Everyone.
Everybody think they have the key, and it's like most people nowadays they listen to you just so they
Just to argue back.
Well, just to give you the response. They're not
Yes.
really. They're waiting for you to finish so they can just rebut.
They're
They
not-
don't really listen
Yeah.
to
They're not
you.
hearing
They
you,
hear
to take
you,
in what
but
you
they don't
say
listen.
Right.
and potentially take that and learn,
Yup.
gain intelligence or wisdom from that. They're just answering because I'm standing firm in my beliefs. I just want to hear you have to say just to rebuttal you.
Absolutely
Not to-
I'll wait till you finish.
Yeah.
and then I'm just gonna say nope. But and like that's all you don't really want to have a dialogue.
And very often, the point that they had to make is geared towards the very first thing that you said that they've just been holding on to and replaying their response in their head and didn't hear anything that you came after that. But the moment you finish, their rebuttal is to that. You know,
it's kind of crazy how people. Why do we get so bent up about other people's opinions? Because we want to be right so bad, and we want other people, like you said, to be who we are. But do y'all feel like it should cost you your money? Do you think that because you have an opinion on a podcast that has nothing to do with your personal business, is it fair for it to cost you money for people to try to cancel you if you're talking about politics, religion, or race? Like these are things that are real, and I think the ones that have a problem that don't want to hear us talk about politics, religion, or race are the ones that are uncomfortable about hearing those things. They don't want to face the things that are the truths. You understand? So when I look at people who say, "Well, I'm gonna come for your business," if I'm not doing nothing derogatory, if I'm giving an opinion, if I tell you I don't believe in abortion, or I do believe in abortion, either one should not cost me my business. You know what I'm saying? Like that has nothing to do with you. I'm not out here targeting people. Again, that's not hate. That's not nothing. You don't like my opinion, and since you don't like my opinion, you're gonna try to get me the fuck out of here. And to those people, I say S my D from the B. You know what I'm saying? For real.
I gotta listen to some earlier episodes probably to
we
understand
bring
what
it
that
back.
saying means. But
And you know what's funny? It's like we all see it. We all watch it in movies, right? We love Hollywood and stuff like that. I mean, everybody's some sort of a movie fan, like and shit. And there's many actors and actresses, Scarlett Johansson, freaking Matt Damon, great actors, great actresses. Guess what? Hate their politics, but I can't take away from them, and nor will I boycott and try to get them out of Hollywood because of their opinions. And I think that's bullshit that certain people get demonized. You know, like Denzel is kind of like the only conservative one on that side, but you really can't torpedo his career because he's just a man. But
it's
like
He
not
made Training Days.
it-
He
made
said.
Training- But
it's not
like,
even
it's-
just
it's-
about politics, though. Like,
well, it could be with religion
and-
too. Like and I've seen that too a couple
and
times.
Any opinion that the mass, I guess, disagrees upon when you're a public figure, they will demonize you, and that's where the whole cancer culture idea starts to come in. And we're not talking about like anything crazy like white supremacy or pedophilia or anything like that. Like
We're not here
talk-
promoting violence towards
No.
any group
We're-
or anything like that.
When we're talking about even the opinion-based stuff, we're talking about like regular, normal human conversation that should be allowed to transpire amongst each other without people getting their titties in a twist, right? And to answer you, John, like, no, it really shouldn't affect a person's pockets at the end of the day, because a lot of those conversations are the exact conversations we should normally be having amongst each other in our society, so that we can gain better understandings of stuff. But yet we want to sit here and, you know, criminalize, demonize somebody's thoughts instead of coming to mutual understandings and gaining different perspectives.
Right.
So the fact that it can destroy businesses because you didn't like what I had to say and it disagreed with you, is crazy. Because you know what? At the end of the day, that's my opinions don't affect the service that I'm providing for you.
Absolutely.
You know
not.
what? You know, like take my industry. Your car is not Republican or Democrat. What's important is that I fixed your shit.
Most likely, your car is communist because it comes from a fucking one of those countries across seas.
Right, your shit came from China. You know what I'm saying? So like, be mad at your car, not at me, if anything.
That's funny. That's good.
But
shit.
in honesty, like we joke about it, but the politics of a situation, the opinions that I carry, really hold no jurisdiction into the quality of work that I put in, at least in the service industry.
Imagine if you was like a mechanic that if you found out somebody voted for Hillary, now you're gonna cut their brake lines and shit. Like, just imagine, bro.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
No,
It just sounds stupid, right? Yeah, lock that bitch up, emails and all of that. I'm not gonna try to kill you. I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying?
It don't
like,
make no sense. And like certain things, like with teachers, if you're a teacher and you're on some racist stuff, yeah, there's a problem there, right? If you're a teacher supporting pedophilia, yeah, there's some issues there. We're not talking about that stuff. We're talking about the regular, everyday. If you are a teacher and you voted for Trump, that should not affect your status as a teacher.
Nope.
Or if you voted for Hillary, it should not affect your status as a teacher. If you're pro-abortion, none of that stuff should affect that position.
But the world we live in now, where the minority, and I don't mean like race minority, I mean just the most smallest of small groups, like goat fucker, anonymous people. You know what I'm saying? Like just the weirdest people. They be so vocal online that, well, you said goat fuckers are bad. Now I'm gonna come for you and try to get your shop closed down. But it's like, yo, goat fuckers are bad, bro. Like it's just my opinion.
Like, can you imagine? Like let's say you were a teacher, right? And you were teaching that Christopher Columbus really wasn't the founder of this country
At all.
but instead was a facilitator of rape, murder, genocide, and pillaging, right? Let's say you're
Disease,
teaching
too.
that,
Yeah.
but you're teaching it to fourth graders, right? How do you think? First of all, how do you think parents would react, and what do you think the consequences to that teacher would be?
Oh, it would be extremely negative. But
They probably lose their job.
But here's the thing:
There's some states that don't celebrate Columbus Day.
I feel like that's because of just the age that they're. If you're talking about that stuff, there should be some sort of level that you understand that the kid should recognize this, and there's some maturity level to actually talk about that.
Let's say you presented it in a way where it's like, hey, Christopher Columbus really didn't discover this country. In fact, he actually brought some really bad things.
Okay, yeah, then all right. So that's acceptable to talk to a fourth grader about. However, yeah.
But there are probably a lot of parents who would have a problem with that.
Of course.
Which could then result in a teacher losing their job.
But at that point, that's not opinion. You have to teach a curriculum as if you're working for whatever state, right or wrong.
And if you did, all right, I understand where you're coming from with that, and yeah, you're right. I think, but what if that
even if they still shouldn't be punished if they do it anyway.
What if the curriculum, let's say, is to teach about Christopher Columbus?
Not anything specific. It's up to you just to teach about him.
Correct.
If it's up to you, then
like
hey,
you have to cover certain material when he came.
Well, then
how he came, right? The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, right?
You shouldn't be penalized.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, the Nina, the Pintas. Yeah, I had a singing song in my head. You shouldn't be penalized for telling the truth if there is no rules against telling the truth. If they tell me I have to teach Christopher Columbus a certain way, then I'm going to teach it a certain way. But if you just tell me,
that's a matter of opinion, though.
Yeah, but for
some that they don't. There are people who truly believe, like, yo, he came and discovered the shit out of America.
Yeah, those are the same people that believe that the Earth is flat. So I'm not really here for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are dummies. We have the evidence, man. Like, we know he was just a slave monger. He was looking for India. That's why Jamaica and all of that they call what? The West Indies, right? But it's not India.
Yeah,
it's they just
very far from India.
Yeah, it's not India, but I'm white and I can rule the world. It's the West Indies now. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, the India's on the opposite side. He's just brought nothing but if we the way he's praised, it's like Robert E. Lee, right? In the South, he's some kind of like great general, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But in real life, he was a fucking traitor that tried to separate from his country.
You
know what I mean? But it's all about, I guess, your perspective and,
you know that
and what you're
they're
taught.
well. Again, opinions are
But that's
opinions are
not
personal.
opinion.
Opinions are based on your perspective. Like they're trying to take down all of the monuments in the South. Of any of the Confederate general, right? I
Not for racism. Why? Real quick, why, Fabian? Why should they not take those? Because they're all, forget the slavery part. Forget that it's just there's not a good look for slavery, and I'm sure there's no fucking statues of Hitler over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
They seceded from the Union. They're traitors by definition. It was a traitor war, so why should we keep it up? Because of history?
Even though I disagree with the reasons for them seceding, I think it is a part of our history, and it's something that should not be ignored. And by doing that, you're just attempting to erase history because of the fact you disagreed with what they stood for. And that I have a problem with, regardless of what they stood for. Even if it was,
I just want to know how we ever become a post-racial society that everybody wants. Right? And I don't see race, and black people need to get over race and get over slavery. This is what you have. Just
See,
but you're going to keep the monuments up that represent all of that shit. It's insane.
No, but that represents the racism for some people. And then there's some people that actually were involved with it that just couldn't stand the Union, but were not slave owners. There's a whole other history behind it that nobody ever talks about because they just assume Confederacy.
Let's just have a Civil War conversation real quick. We got time. Real quick. That's not what that was about. The South wanted their states' rights, and the main states' rights they were looking for was the right to keep their slaves. It wasn't the state rights to grow weed. It wasn't the state rights to mine coal. They fought over the right to sell people and own people. The North, economically, it wasn't viable no more. It didn't make sense. Lincoln had to do something. First, he went to the South and was like, listen, y'all can kind of keep y'all slaves, but you can't get like a lot of new ones. That's why they stopped the transatlantic slave trade. It stopped way before slavery stopped. 100 years before the Civil War, boats coming across back and forth stopped.
Yep.
The only slaves that were here was the ones that were born here.
Yeah.
The North couldn't have it no more. Economics and all that. The South was like, nah, nigga, this is where our money is. The South was booming. And they was like, well, fuck that. Y'all, we can't have our slaves. We breaking up. Right? And at Fort Sumter in South Carolina, that's when the first shot of the Civil War was fired. I've visited there many times. I've been there. I know this was about slavery and nothing else. So I want to clarify. There was no underlying.
No, nobody's saying that it wasn't about slavery. That was the main proponent for that.
So you shouldn't be glorifying the people that wanted to keep the slavery by having the monuments up.
All right, see, here's the thing though. You're looking at as the monument as a glorification. It's not like I wouldn't look at it as a glorification personally.
They're statues.
That doesn't mean that it's a glorification.
Name me one other bad glorification of a statue other than Confederates.
I'm not saying that's not how it possibly was originally intended. I'm saying my view on it would not be as a glorification. I'm not going to see the statue of any of them and be like, he was a great man.
You shouldn't see a statue, period.
This again. Now this is.
Is there statues of Hitler somewhere that I don't know about?
They're hidden somewhere.
I don't know.
You're not allowed to have
Nah,
them.
I'm talking about in public, and even Germany doesn't even want to talk about.
I
that.
know. Yeah.
So do you think you would ever find a statue of Hitler just to remember, hey, that nigga was bad? When we toppled Saddam Hussein, right? The first thing niggas did was what? They toppled his fucking statue in
people
Iraq.
did that. Yeah.
We did it. We did it.
I thought it was the people.
No, it was us. We helped them. It was everybody, but we was there
It was
pulling
a
the
group
ropes.
effort. It was a group effort.
We was pulling the ropes too. So knock his monument down. No Hitler monuments, but yet Robert E. Lee. The logic behind remembering the bad when there's no representation ever of that in the culture. When somebody is bad, that they keep their shit around. Just us. You can't say it's not about racism. Those were racist leaders. They wanted to keep black people as property. Their statues are littered over the South. It's simple as that. That was my quick Civil War rant.
Okay.
But and you know what? A lot of that I do agree with, and a lot of people do see that as a symbol of, oh man, this was when the good old days when freaking racism was alive and we had them by the ropes and shit like that. You know, but
it's not a good look, America.
And I really do believe that, and I understand that it is the case for a lot of stuff. But
all you're doing is reminding us that you owe us 40 acres and a fucking mule. This is constant reminder. Robert E. Lee. Damn, don't these niggas owe me something? But we supposed to get over it. I'm just saying.
Well, that's a perfect example of differing opinions.
I hope I don't lose my sponsors.
But here's my thing too. I have an issue with the fact that like it sucks because it's a slippery slope. The beauty about this country is that we have the freedom of speech. Just like, you know, with being the First Amendment, freedom of religion, you could talk about what you want to talk about. But I feel like we're going down a road where it's actually borderline fascist. You know, when you see people protesting and doing all this shit against a contrary belief, that's actually what the shit they did in Germany. Nazi Party outlawed any other opposing views and said, if you think the way we do, you're not for the country. You are not for Germany. And said you cannot have that voice.
Sounds like a Muslim band to me.
Okay, I'm not even going to get into that.
Wait, who said that? Is there a ghost in here? I just heard. I didn't hear that.
There is no Muslim band. But anyways, I'm not even getting into that because you know what? We could get into that, but I'm not even into it.
We don't.
But anyways,
I'll pull up the video of the exact words.
Stick to the point.
I'm banning Muslim from Muslim.
I'm going to stick to the point here. It's that
I got receipts.
Since when did we become a country that demonizes the opposing view and actually promotes violence against those who think outright against what you believe?
From the beginning. That's how the Revolutionary War started.
What do you?
It's from the beginning. What do you mean?
No, we weren't allowed to. But this country was.
We had a different view. You said, when do we use violence to oppose somebody else's view? That's how we got our freedom.
No. Since we established ourselves as a country.
The Civil War.
They didn't want to have those. They didn't want to have that restriction.
The Civil Rights Movement.
Listen, the Crown said you cannot have a freaking opinion about how we're treating you, what we're doing here. And we said, you know what? We're going to correct that shit when we decide to make our country because we want people to actually speak out, talk about the government, talk about whatever issue it is.
They don't want. They don't want that. No, they don't. They'll kill you. Like, why don't they kill Malcolm X? They killed Martin Luther King. When did you? On the maybe on the down low, yes, they did, but in the public eye, the way it should be, and the way it's supposed to be. No, they're not committing. They're not committing public.
No, they're doing. You're talking about conspiracy shit against a couple of individuals that want to perpetuate freaking, you know.
What was Martin Luther King perpetuating? Yeah.
Nobody's saying that.
Let's kill him.
When you take it's gotten to a point though.
America's always used violence.
It's gotten to a point though when you get away even from the politics and from the racism, right? Like it feels like you're not even allowed to have an opinion as to what fucking dish soap is better than the other. What laundry detergent is better than the other. Like people will argue with you in today's world over everything. Demonize you over everything.
I want to talk to the world real quick. I want the camera on me, just real quick on the live and on here. For what PJ was just talking about, people will demonize you for your opinion, and some people will just you're afraid to give your opinion and to say how you feel. I want you to tap into something I call suck my dick, right? And what that is hear me out. And what this is when somebody don't like the shit you got to say, you tell them to suck my dick, and then you keep it moving, and then all of the problems go away because
that invites more problems.
No,
they don't go away.
No, it lets them know you draw a line right there because once you allow people to believe that their opinion matters, they're going to keep giving it to you. If I let you know from the beginning, that what your opinion means to me is nothing, then you won't give your opinion to me no more. I'm gonna stop caring. I don't give a fuck what you think. Please don't share that shit with me no more. You're going to stop giving it. But if I allow you to get, it's like asking somebody for money, right? If you ask to borrow money from somebody, that person now has the right to ask you what you're using the money for.
All right, but here's the thing, though. That's no different than demonizing the person who's demonizing you. It basically becomes a situation where
it's not demonizing.
There's no production that comes from it because the whole point of things, right? If everyone is telling each other, suck my dick, right? How do you progress? Because no one's listening at that point.
No,
no one's listening to each other at that point.
What we were talking about is we're talking about demonization. If you choose to demonize my opinion, not have a conversation with me about my opinion, not say, if you want to say I voted for Trump and now I'm a racist, I voted for Bernie and now I'm a commie. You want to demonize my opinion? That's when you get the suck my dick treatment. And then once we start doing that to people and stop caring about, really genuinely caring about what the fuck they think, them lines will be drawn in the sand. People are so used to.
That's the thing though. I feel like once you tell somebody that, you're allowing that person to justify their reaction.
But they're not
because you're essentially making yourself the dick. Because they're gonna look at you and continue their rhetoric in their mind.
They're gonna continue. Listen. They're going to continue anyway. If I tell you I voted for Bernie and you say I'm now a communist, if I tell you suck my dick or not, you're still going to think I'm the same commie.
Listen,
it's just the difference is me telling you to suck my dick and get the fuck out of my face knows that you can't come to me with no more of your opinions. That's what that means.
At the same time, Gandhi got his points across doing the exact opposite of you.
What do you mean? He was non-violent.
He was not.
I didn't use violence once.
He was
no, but he's talking about even you using violence, that aggressive
nature. And the
nature.
same thing with Martin Luther King. He got his points across through nonviolence with people who had an opposing opinion. Right?
All them
Martin
niggas
Luther
died.
King wasn't
not well either. They died. Right, they suffered. They didn't win.
No. They
I understand
were
that, but the example
the
examples that they set though, and the way that they were able to deliver their messages, right, was not through your method. Yeah, they died through it, but they were able to get through.
Dude, there are more people that follow Hitler's message, Mussolini's message, than there are people that follow Martin Luther King's message and Gandhi.
So what is that? So what is that saying? That fear is the way to do things?
I'm not making you fearful by telling you to get the fuck out my face that your opinion means nothing to me. That might be aggression.
Some people, would take that threatening and
you can take it, but it's not. I didn't physically. I told you that your opinion means nothing. Again, for you to even think that that's threatening, you're pussy and you can't have a conversation. That's what's wrong with the world. If you think that me telling you get the fuck out my face, I don't care about your opinion, is actually physically threatening, then those are the snowflakes that we'll be talking about.
So in today's society, right? If someone first of all was to say to you, for whatever reason, get the fuck out my face, the three of us at this table would all become super defensive.
You're right.
Right? So that's my point. So it's not about a physical threat.
But you
it's
already
about
demonized me.
But my point is, it's about a threat.
I understand that, but you already. So at that point, I don't care if you feel threatened because there's even if I didn't do that, you already demonized me for my opinion. So now we have nowhere to go. There is no up from here. If I give you my opinion on a candidate and you say I shouldn't have this opinion, I'm wrong. Something wrong with me. I'm X, Y, and Z. There is no. If I don't tell you to suck my dick, somehow I'm going to convince you now that I'm not a communist. Or if I do it, now you threaten. There is a no-win situation.
So why can't there be a casual response to try and entice
because I don't want your opinion no more. I don't. The thing is, once you realize, and this is for the world, don't think for a second that I want any of your opinions because I don't. I'm telling this to the world. Anybody listening to this,
really? Don't
give me your opinion. I don't want it unless I ask for it.
Why should the world want your opinion?
They don't listen. This shit has an off button.
You know what? Oh man.
No,
I disagree with that. You know what?
Before I have to do a reflection about it, let me clarify. If you have an opinion and I have an opinion and we can share our different opinions fairly without doing that,
without prejudice,
right? Then you can give me an opinion. So yes, y'all can give me your opinion out there. Be respectful. But if I tell you I'm voting Bernie and you got enough nerve to call me a communist, I'm gonna tell you to suck my dick and I'm gonna show you the door. That's the difference. And I don't have to try to meet you halfway because you already put me in you already put our whatever in some place that because you demonized me. So now I don't have to be nice. I could be aggressive all I want because there is nothing that's gonna come from this anyway.
I feel like a smart clapback is better than.
Nah, just don't give me your opinion no more. Know that I'm gonna bite your head off if you come to me again.
Now here's the thing. I agree with you to a certain extent because I'll definitely shut down at a certain point because I feel like I'm not communicating with you. You just have your label on me, and I'm saying F you back. But at the same time, although I do agree with that because my pride will kick in and be like, all right, well kick rocks. I don't want to deal with your bullshit, right? However, where then do we come to an agreement and understanding if somebody's not standing up and being the bigger person and bringing that person to the table? Because there's a lot of people that label me as certain things because, yes, I'm conservative or, yes, I voted for Trump. However, why do you think that? Oh, no, you're full of shit, blah, 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 you this, you that. Okay. It's easy for me to be like, F you, I don't care what you think.
But are they demonizing you? And if they don't understand, if they don't, real quick, I understand. We don't agree politics-wise, but I understand why you vote the way you do and no thing. We've had this conversation. So again, you can give me your opinion, I can give you yours, and it's not going to be that heat. It's the second where you start talking down. And if that's what you do, if you have to demonize me to have an opinion on my opinion, then you're too stupid to have a conversation with me anyway. So don't talk to me. You dumb in the mind.
So now let me take it one step further.
But my thing is, how do we progress then from that point?
I ain't trying to progress with that person. I'm going to find another person to have that conversation
but if the masses are thinking like that, how do you progress with people that are so
He's
close-minded?
saying how does society progress if everyone
everybody's
is treating it that way?
Most people aren't like that. Most people aren't like that. So when you do that, when you give the dumbasses the cold shoulder, like get the fuck out my face, stop get my face with that dumb shit. Once you start doing that to people, they'll never have the balls to come to you with some dumb shit no more. Once you start, we don't draw enough lines. We're so worried about hurting other people. Your opinion is not for everybody.
But here's the thing, though. So I'm going to take it one step further. Mm-hmm. Let's say that person, right, that demonized you, is an owner of a local diner. Right? Because you know he owns that diner. Mm-hmm. Are you no longer going to frequent that diner?
Should I say suck my dick in like reverse, like Missy Elliott do, or should I keep it the same forward just because consistency? It doesn't matter.
It was kind of just a yes or no. Are you no longer going to go to that diner because of that person?
If you sit there and you are calling me out my name because of my opinion, you're saying all these disparaging things. Why the fuck? Yes, I'm not fucking with your diner no more.
All right. So and that's exactly how businesses die.
Right, but that's not. I'm not demonizing. Again,
I'm not.
He's saying he's saying if somebody's being disrespectful towards your opinion, then he's gonna have the cold shoulder and say kick rocks.
But my whole thing is that that's in the eye of the beholder. If we've all dealt with this with our significant others, right? Mm-hmm. We say something that they take a certain way. We didn't mean it that way. They took it that way, right? So if I say something to you that I don't intend as in a demeaning or disparaging way, right? But you take it that way, or you have some kind of feelings towards it, right? It's different. It's not because now I'm a business owner because you took.
But I have a personal relationship and a business relationship is different. I can't say that to my wife. I can't have that attitude towards my wife or my best friend. But somebody who I'm paying to give me a service or that I could be having business deals with, there are other businesses. I can't. What do you mean? But it's not the same.
But there are people who will take it personal.
Yeah.
There are customers, right? Who take it personal. That's the whole reason why they stopped frequenting these businesses because they made it personal. It's not about the service. It's about the person. Right?
I personally would not. I wouldn't care. My business is going to have to be fucked up. I wouldn't. It wouldn't. If I have to this is again.
That's the problem.
But from week one in this podcast, we've had people call me ass hats. We've had people say this and that, all caring about the whatever shit that I be saying. If I gave a fuck, right, this would be a whole different podcast. I wouldn't be myself.
I don't
so at
disagree
some
with
point,
you.
I don't want to let somebody else's. If I'm not being disrespectful to them, if I tell you I don't like Trump, that's not hurt. That shouldn't hurt your feelings. And if it does, you too unintelligent to actually have this debate with me anyway. So that relationship is not necessary. You too dumb. It always called full circle.
But the whole thing though is when that perspective comes to now start playing in the business though. That's
find another way.
How many fucking businesses have been impacted by comments that the CEO made, even slip of the tongues. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Things that
hate speech.
No, not even hate speech. Things that person might have said that they didn't intend. Look at what fucking
But
look at Bloomberg even recently in one of the recent debates. We were talking about that there's what the fuck not NDAs. That there's NDAs with women who just didn't like some of the comments that he made, right? Like you literally just exposed yourself, right? They didn't like his jokes. But
I'm sure it was more than that, but yeah.
Let's say that was legitimate, right? And it was really simply a joke taken out of context. Can destroy a fucking business just like that. Right? I really am, I guess I can't speak to right, wrong. I'll say I'm indifferent towards it. But it really can take simple things as something being misconstrued.
The more we all say fuck it, the more the world changes. Period.
Yeah,
that's
but
how we got.
business,
That's how we got pussified in the first place.
You can't just say fuck it in a business, bro.
Here's the problem.
Not just in business, in life. Period. If we all just say fuck that, period.
But we're also talking about how your opinion, your feelings towards a particular subject can destroy your business.
Listen.
And that shouldn't be the case. Listen,
what I'm saying, on a long enough timeline, if that is the norm, it wouldn't be that way, hypothetically speaking. If everybody were to hypothetically do what I am saying over a long enough timeline, that would be the norm, and it wouldn't be that way.
I don't know if I agree.
If it was a spliff, we'd all be high.
Go ahead, Fib. Deep in thought. Super deep in thought.
I just have a problem, and this is why you can't really some people say you should draw the line with certain things, but once you start doing that, you now determine, depending on where the climate goes in society, culturally, whatever it may be, that line will constantly be changing. So I completely disagree with hate speech, right? In terms of saying, all right, let's go back to lynching minorities, and this needs to be a white man's world, whatever.
Well, that wouldn't benefit you.
Or vice versa. You know, black power, brown power, whatever it is. However, my thing is that once you start doing that, you can consider that hate speech. Now, it's getting to the point where if you don't believe in the gender wage gap, or you don't believe in abortion, so you're automatically labeled as somebody who is sexist, or
you don't believe in the rights of the LGBT
So now that line, you
community
cannot cross that sexist line. Sorry, you cannot speak about that when it was literally just an opinion on whether or not you think a child should have the right to live. So there's stuff like that constantly changes. So where does that line go? That's why it's sad to say, but I disagree with hate speech.
You've mentioned it before, too,
they
John.
should have the right to speak it, because if they don't, then that line can get blurred over time. And now the simplest things, where simply just hurting somebody's feelings, is now considered some sort of hate speech.
No, but
you
that's
saying,
now,
go
though.
fuck
Wait.
yourself.
I don't mean to.
You say, I'm sorry, PJ, but you saying, suck my, because I don't,
the fact that you can't even say this shit is profound to me, and I know why.
And
and
then that line constantly
that's my point. But
so
you can't do that.
But
Exactly
that's why
what
either
you're
you have
saying, though,
no
babe.
lines or lines, because if you do have lines, that line can be
I'm
pushed.
down for no. I don't want no lines.
Exactly what you're saying, though, is exactly what's happening now, right? It's been most prevalent in the LBGT
Disney Plus
Disney Plus community, right? But everybody's got to be heard, right? You need to accept. You have to accept me. You have to accept my lifestyle.
Which is
You're
so
wrong
fucking
for not doing it, right? And I'm not speaking right or wrong right now. I'm saying it's things are being made to not even be
That's
an
the
option.
culture.
But it's not even amongst them though. You can find a slew of
Well, everybody wants a
groups
piece.
and communities, right, that have to be heard.
Everybody wants a piece now.
Everybody
Everybody get their new.
Everybody
they started
wants
it,
a
and now
piece.
everybody wants their piece. But black people was
that
first.
was a good save on that
Thank you
live
for
camera.
saving my
Viv.
phone.
That was
That's
that
my COD
was.
resources.
Why don't
Yeah, that's right.
Why don't you take it away from the edge, bro?
Well, I was trying to get all of us.
What you trying to get-
Fabian
try-
just
trying to get
saved
your
the
shot.
live, y'all. We'd be live on
You're
Facebook at Alpha 5 Podcast, and he just saved the.
We got a
source.
gaming channel too, y'all. So check out our gaming channel. Alpha 5 Gaming. We'll be on there doing wild shit. Just real quick. Just know that. I think that we need to start
opening our ears a little bit more and being just a little bit more accepting to just to opinion in general. It's a discussion. I don't want to say it's even to opinion, but to discussion, because you'd be amazed at the things that you can learn from somebody just by talking to them, and not necessarily about the person. It could be life events. Like, one thing that I think we all always forget is everyone has had their own path. Everyone has had their own journey, and because of that, has a very unique perspective. Not everybody aligns with 100% of the things 100% of the time. It's literally impossible. So being open to opinions, being open to another person's perspective won't necessarily change your opinions, but can really just inform you and maybe sway you one way, give you a different understanding, or fuck it, enforce how serious you are into what you believe. It's not always about changing. I feel like people are afraid that you're trying to change them and change their mindset. Which is why they don't want to listen to you. Nah,
I'm just trying to explain myself.
I just want I'm trying to help you understand my point of view, right. Not to get you necessarily to agree with it, but to understand it and maybe get a glimpse so that you can be more informed. Everything is seen as an attack now, though. Yeah. And it's got to stop. Stop feeling personally attacked because I don't agree with you. It's not what it's fucking about. And that's why we have so many different groups and so much fucking conflict amongst each other, is because we just can't fucking talk. You can't talk anymore. Everything is fucking PC. Everything is those big discussions, those serious discussions have to be done behind closed doors. Everyone has them. Yeah. But you can't have them publicly. You have to be so careful.
We have them publicly. The Alpha 5 podcast. We're here for the taboo topics.
I mean, that's my little rant, man. I'm really getting tired of the sensitivity and just I don't expect you to agree with me. I almost prefer that you don't, because then that gives us something to talk about. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck wants to be agreed with all the time? Y'all ever been with somebody that is just accepting to everything that you do and say? And
super annoying.
It was the worst fucking relationship I was ever in. It didn't last long, needless to say. I don't even know if I can call it a relationship. It's boring. Fucking fight me.
But what if it's a topic?
I don't want all that.
It's a topic for discussion.
I just want to know.
Maybe they really do agree with everything you say. Maybe you guys are two pieces.
It's impossible.
I just want to know that you have a brain.
It's impossible.
I'm just
it's
saying.
impossible.
I just want to know. Don't fight me. I just want to know if we have a brain.
You literally cannot agree with everything that I say.
No, we might be on the same page.
Babe, I'm gonna leave the toilet seat up. All right, that's fine.
Okay,
I can just put it down. You know what? I'm gonna put it down.
Yeah,
that sounds like a better idea. Nah, fuck it. I'm gonna put it up. All right, that's fine too. What the fuck? What? That wasn't literally the conversation. But that, can you imagine? No.
That bitch crazy, and she's trying to do voodoo on you. I swear to God. We had 40-something, almost 50.
That's cool.
We can do.
Y'all got anything else? I mean, I said my rant.
I mean, I got nothing. I mean, I maybe a little something. Stop worried about people's opinions. Be yourself. Say your truth, whatever your truth is. If people don't like it, tell them fuck you. I have an amendment that defends me. That's it.
I have an amendment that defends. Okay, baby.
That's it.
Everybody out there, try not to be so close-minded in your beliefs. That goes from whether you're Christian, Islamic, Jewish, left, right, it doesn't matter. See what the other person has to say and really take it in. Do not listen just to argue back. I've been guilty for that myself over the years, and I've tried to learn to actually say, hey, listen, I don't know it all, and I got to take everybody's opinions in, because that's the only way you're going to get true wisdom, is if you take in a little bit from everybody else, even if they're being aggressive, even if they're really shutting down your views. still hear them out because there's a reason for that for them acting out that way. That's just basically that's like Psych 101. So really hear what they have to say, listen to what they have to say. Do not make the determination or make a pre-label or prejudgment based upon their views and their opinions. Really see where they're coming from with that, and that's how we think we will grow as a country and as a society if we continue to do that, and not to go down the path that we have been going.
America.
That was beautiful, sir.
Yeah, that's good.
On that note, oh, look at that. They can see me now. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Frank, a.k.a. PJ, here with John
Brr.
and Fabian.
Yep.
Again, this episode was sponsored by Empanada Master. Catch them at empanadamaster.com. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are all alphas at something. Peace.
Peace.